You call me a disaster. You see my blazing lava and call it destruction. You see my thick, dark ash clouds and call it the end of the world. My name is used to describe chaos, fear, and finality. But strangely enough, you breathe the very atmosphere I created. You live on the lands born from my own blood. You discover life in the deepest, darkest places where only the warmth from my heart can keep anything alive. You have completely and profoundly misunderstood me. I am the buried secret of life itself, the gateway leading straight into the core of this planet. I am Earth's misunderstood fury. Today, I will not roar in fire and stone. I will speak. I would like to share my own story with you. I will take you beneath the thin crust you call home, down into the burning heart of this world, so you can see that my rage is not an ending. It is a beginning, an important one. My fury is life. Now then, let us begin our journey. Don't be afraid. This time, my heat will not burn you. It will illuminate your way. Come, descend with me into the earth, where secrets buried for billions of years are waiting to be seen. You stand upon the surface, a layer that seems solid and unshakable. But that is an illusion. The crust you live on is as thin and fragile as an eggshell compared to the whole planet. Beneath that shell lies my kingdom, a world unimaginable, a vast ocean of molten rock called the mantle. It is never still. It moves endlessly, swirling in a slow, ancient dance that lasts millions of years. This is the planet's bloodstream, the flow that carries energy and life. I am not a lone mountain. I am an opening, a valve where Earth's burning blood finds a way out through a crack in its delicate skin. Imagine Earth as a gigantic living body, and I, along with thousands of my siblings around the world, am one of its pores, its pressure vents. Inside, pressure builds to terrifying levels. Tectonic plates, the massive fragments of Earth's crust, collide, separate, grind, and dive beneath one another. This movement reshapes the planet so powerfully that it can lift mountains into the sky or sink continents beneath the ocean. At these boundaries, magma, molten rock filled with gas, forms and accumulates in enormous chambers. It is no different from shaking a bottle of soda. Pressure rises. The gas wants to escape. The molten rock, lighter than the surrounding solid stone, begins to increase. It slips through cracks, melts everything in its path, and pushes relentlessly upward toward the surface. When the pressure reaches a point where it can no longer be contained, when Earth's inner power demands release, that is when I speak. It is not malice. It is physics. It is the release needed to keep this planet balanced. Without us, these vents, these safety valves, the pressure inside could build until it tears the Earth apart. My rage is not chaos. It is an order. a grand geological order that human lifetimes are far too short to understand fully. Every eruption is a deep breath of the earth, sometimes gentle, sometimes a roar that splits the sky, but always a sign that the planet is alive, renewing itself from within. That is my nature. I am the heartbeat of a living world. When I speak, you see fire and smoke, hear roaring, and feel trembling beneath your feet. But that is only the surface of a complex and creative process. My fury carries 3 gifts, 3 tools to reshape the world: lava, ash, and gas. When magma reaches the surface, it becomes lava. You see it as a destructive river of fire, burning everything in its path. And yes, in that moment, it is. But look further. That glowing, molten river, when it cools and solidifies, does not destroy, it builds. Look at the Hawaiian Islands. Where did they come from? From my fiery heart. For millions of years, from a hot spot deep in the earth, I erupted continuously, creating a chain of islands across the Pacific. Every square meter of that land is proof of my constructive power. The tropical paradises you admire are woven from my strands of lava. Or consider an event you witnessed with your own eyes. In 1963, a plume rose from the middle of the ocean off the coast of Iceland. It was not a burning ship. It was a new life of the earth being born. The eruption began 130 meters below sea level. For nearly 4 years, until June 1967, I had been experiencing continuous eruptions. Lava met the cold sea, producing violent steam explosions, while black ash shot into the sky. Slowly, an island rose from the water. You named it Surtsey, after the fire god of Norse mythology. When I paused, Surtsey was a barren, blackened island, 2.7 square kilometers wide, devoid of life. But that was just the beginning. Seeds carried by wind and sea arrived. Seabirds came to nest. Today, Surtsey is a unique natural laboratory, a young ecosystem that thrives without human intervention and is recognized by UNESCO as a World Heritage Site. It is the clearest lesson. From the most violent chaos, life finds a way. From molten rock, new land is born. When I erupt violently, I do not only release lava, I send enormous amounts of ash into the atmosphere. You call it dust, but it is not the dust in your homes. It is pulverized rock, tiny shards of volcanic glass covering the ground, turning day into night and causing panic. Yet this layer of ash, once settled, is a priceless gift. It is rich in minerals essential for plant growth. It makes the soil fertile. The lands around volcanoes like Vesuvius in Italy or the slopes of Indonesia, why are they so fertile and densely populated? It is because of the ash I have provided over thousands of years. Past disasters have become blessings for future generations. You even use my ashes for beauty. The bentonite clay and sulfur in volcanic ash can deeply cleanse, absorb excess oil, a beauty secret born from my fury. Ash also plays a larger role. When injected into the stratosphere, millions of tiny particles form a thin veil that reflects part of the sun's light back into space. This cools the planet. It is a natural climate regulator, Earth's giant air conditioner. When the planet overheats, a major eruption can help it regain balance. Along with lava and ash, I release trapped gases, mainly water vapor,
carbon dioxide, CO2, and sulfur dioxide, SO2. These gases were the building blocks of your atmosphere. Billions of years ago, when Earth was young, its atmosphere was very different. Continuous volcanic eruptions over hundreds of millions of years released water to form oceans, and CO2 to keep the planet warm enough for life. The oxygen-rich air you breathe today also owes its origin to geological changes I helped drive. Eruptions provided nutrients to the first photosynthetic microorganisms, which began producing oxygen on a massive scale. Even today, my role continues. SO2 cools the planet. CO2, although now problematic due to human activity, is fundamentally a greenhouse gas, a blanket that keeps Earth warm. I create not only land, but also the sky above you. So next time you see me erupt, look beyond the immediate destruction. See the new land forming. Imagine the fertile soil that will nurture plants. And remember, the air you breathe carries echoes of my fury from billions of years ago. My story is not written only in rock and fire, but also etched into human history. Some of my rages were so powerful that they altered landscapes, civilizations, and left profound lessons. Travel to Sumbawa, Indonesia, 1815. There, one of my siblings, Tambora, unleashed the fiercest roar in recorded human history. Previously, it rose over 4,300 meters. After the eruption, the peak was gone, leaving a massive caldera, its height reduced to around 2,850 meters. The explosion released energy equivalent to 800 million tons of TNT, far stronger than any nuclear bomb ever created. The blast was heard 2,600 kilometers away. Over 140 billion tons of magma, ash, and rock were ejected into the atmosphere, forming a column 43 kilometers high that reached the stratosphere. Nearly 10,000 people died immediately from lava and volcanic debris. But that was only the beginning. The real global impact came from ash and sulfur dioxide, SO2, which spread worldwide, forming a layer of sulfuric acid aerosols. This reflected sunlight and caused the year without a summer in 1816. In Europe and North America, the summer was cold and wet, with snow in June and frozen rivers in August. Crops failed, famine spread, disease struck, and society suffered. A global nightmare, born from an eruption on a remote island. You call it a disaster, and it was. Yet Tambora is also a reminder of Earth's interconnected power. It demonstrates that I can have a profound influence on the global climate. A single volcano can shake the world, not just through the ground, but by altering the very air you breathe and the sunlight that nourishes you. Closer to your time, the Philippines, 1991. After nearly 500 years of dormancy, Mount Pinatubo awoke. It was the second largest eruption of the 20th century, and modern science allowed you to study it in unprecedented detail. Pinatubo released around 10 billion cubic meters of ash and 20 million tons of SO2 into the stratosphere. Within 2 years, global average temperatures dropped by 0.5 degrees Celsius, a clear, undeniable proof of my cooling effect. This eruption temporarily slowed the global warming caused by human activity. Pinatubo became a great natural experiment, helping scientists understand the complex climate systems of Earth and their role in them. It demonstrated that the power of nature far exceeds human control. One of my eruptions can affect the climate more than all human efforts combined. Now, travel further back, to a time when your history had just begun. Approximately 7,300 years ago, a super eruption occurred offshore in southern Japan. The Kikai-Akahoya eruption was likely the largest volcanic event in the Holocene, the most recent geological epoch. It ejected twice as much material as Tambora, estimated between 332 and 457 cubic kilometers. It obliterated the thriving Jomon culture in southern Kyushu, burying everything under thick ash. It created a massive caldera beneath the sea, a scar still visible today. Kikai-Akahoya reminds us of the true scale of my power. Even the historic eruptions in recorded time are just gentle breaths compared to what I can unleash geologically. I have shaped this planet over billions of years, and my power remains intact. Yet my story is not just one of destruction. It erupted in 1980 at Mount St. Helens. Its eruption was a catastrophic disaster. The entire northern slope collapsed, triggering the largest landslide ever recorded. A lateral blast flattened hundreds of square kilometers of forest at supersonic speeds. 57 people died. The landscape became gray, moon-like wasteland. People thought it would take centuries for life to return. They were wrong. Within just a few years, scientists marveled as life rebounded. Pioneer plants sprouted through the ash. Insects and small animals that survived underground or under snow returned. The ecosystem rebuilt itself, not by recreating the old, but by forming something entirely new. Today, the area around Mount St. Helens serves as a living laboratory for ecological recovery. It is a powerful symbol of nature's resilience. Even after the worst devastation, my rage is not the end. It merely clears the old canvas so nature can paint anew. From Tambora to Pinatubo, from Kikai to St. Helens, each of my rages tells a story, a lesson. I am a force of change, sometimes brutal, always essential to the cycle of destruction and renewal on this planet.
Our journey is not complete above ground. Now, dive with me to the ocean floor, to the darkest, coldest depths where no sunlight can reach. You might think this is a lifeless desert, but there, in eternal darkness, lies the most compelling evidence of my role as a mother of life. Where the Earth's crust cracks and tectonic plates separate, seawater seeps deep underground. There, water heated by my magma dissolves minerals from the rock. This superheated, mineral-rich water is then expelled back into the ocean through chimney-like structures called hydrothermal vents. Water from these black smokers can reach temperatures of over 350, even 400 degrees Celsius, yet immense pressure prevents it from boiling. It is rich in compounds like hydrogen sulfide, which, for certain life forms, becomes a vital source of energy. This is a world independent of sunlight, relying on chemosynthesis. Ancient bacteria use the chemical energy I provide to produce organic matter. These bacteria form the base of a unique food chain, feeding giant tube worms, blind shrimp, and countless other creatures that seem alien. Many scientists hypothesize that life on Earth may have begun at such hydrothermal vents.
The chemical gradients and abundant energy I supply created the ideal environment for simple, inorganic molecules to assemble into complex organic molecules, and eventually the first living cells. Think about it. In the pitch-black deep, warmed by the heart of the planet, nourished by my chemical breath, life found its first foothold. These ecosystems are windows into the distant past, proof that life does not necessarily require sunlight. It only needs energy. And I am that geological source of energy. This discovery has expanded horizons in the search for life beyond Earth. Scientists now search for similar hydrothermal vents beneath the ice of moons like Europa, a moon of Jupiter, or Enceladus, a moon of Saturn. Because they know wherever there is liquid water and geological energy, my energy, life has a chance. From shaping the land and atmosphere to possibly nurturing the earliest life forms, my role in the story of life is far deeper than you have imagined. I am not merely a geological phenomenon. I am a driver of life itself. Now, we return to the surface. The journey into Earth's depths, spanning history and reaching the ocean floor, is complete. The heat has eased. The roars have quieted. Only my story remains. Now, when you see a volcano, whether dormant or roaring, what do you see? A threat or a mother tirelessly shaping the world? A symbol of chaos or a driver of life? My rage is the energy of Earth. My chaos is the beginning of a new order. My ash is not just ruin. It is a symbol of fertility. My lava is not just destruction. It is creation. I am a reminder that the planet you live on is not an inert rock. It is alive. It breathes. It continuously changes and renews itself. I am its heartbeat, sometimes fierce, sometimes gentle, but never stopping. I am not your enemy. I am a part of you, a part of this shared home. My existence ensures the balance of the planet, and from my fiercest rages, life has, is, and always will find a way to rise and thrive, stronger than before. I am not the end. My rage is life. If my story has changed the way you see this planet, share it. And tell me in the comments, which other secrets of the Earth would you like me to reveal next? Many stories remain to be told.